Let me pose a question to you, and I genuinely want you to sit with it for a moment. Have you ever found yourself observing that certain men don't simply engage in oral intimacy as an afterthought? They seek it out. They initiate it with enthusiasm. They appear to genuinely want it. And perhaps you found yourself quietly wondering, what is actually going on inside his mind? Is this physical? Emotional? Is it rooted in desire? In love? In some deeper psychological need you haven't quite been able to name? Because here's the reality that most women have never been openly told. There is a real, science-backed, deeply human answer to that question. And the absence of that answer doesn't just leave women confused. It leaves them insecure, self-conscious, and sometimes emotionally distant during moments that could otherwise be some of the most connecting and pleasurable of their lives. That ends today. I'm going to walk you through the genuine psychological, neurological, and biological reasons why men are drawn to oral intimacy with their partners. And more importantly, what that means for your sense of self-worth, your relationship, and your capacity to fully experience pleasure. Stay with me through this entire conversation. I promise you, it is going to reframe things in ways you didn't expect. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Dr. Leila Romano, urologist and women's health specialist with years of clinical experience helping women develop a clearer, more confident understanding of their bodies, their sexual health, and their intimate relationships. This channel exists for one reason: to have the conversations that most medical appointments don't leave room for, and that most people are far too uncomfortable to raise on their own. There is no judgment in this space. There is only science, honesty, and genuine compassion. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Please subscribe because every week I release content created specifically to help women understand themselves and the people they love with greater depth and clarity. And if you've been here before, your continued presence and engagement means more than I can express. I read every comment without exception. Now, let's talk about oral intimacy, specifically the male experience of it, because this is something that touches real relationships every single week, and the honest, grounded conversation around it is almost entirely missing. Setting the foundation, normalizing the conversation. Before anything else, I want to completely normalize what we're discussing. Oral sex, specifically cunnilingus, which is the clinical term for oral stimulation of the female genitalia, is among the most commonly practiced forms of sexual intimacy among adult couples globally. Research from the Kinsey Institute and publications in the Journal of Sexual Medicine consistently confirm that the vast majority of sexually active heterosexual couples engage in this practice with regularity. We are not talking about something niche or unusual. We're talking about something that is biologically natural, psychologically significant, and physiologically essential to female pleasure for a large percentage of women. And yet, a remarkable number of women feel deeply conflicted about it. Some feel self-conscious to the point of avoidance. Some genuinely wonder whether their partner is doing it out of obligation or social pressure rather than authentic desire. And some women withdraw from it entirely, not because they don't want it, but because insecurity about their body, their scent, their appearance, or their perceived desirability becomes louder than anything else in the room. As both a physician and a woman, I find that deeply painful, because the truth is so much more affirming, so much more empowering than the narrative most women have constructed in their own minds. So let's start from the very beginning. The neuroscience. What's actually happening in his brain? Here's something most people genuinely don't know. The human brain is wired to find pleasure in giving pleasure. This is not sentiment, this is neuroscience. When a man engages in oral intimacy with his partner, his brain initiates a complex neurochemical response. Dopamine surges, the same reward chemical activated when you achieve a goal, eat something you love, or experience something that genuinely satisfies you. For a significant number of men, facilitating their partner's pleasure activates the same dopamine reward system with remarkable consistency. A 2017 study, published in the Archives of Sexual Behavior, found that men who actively prioritize their partner's sexual satisfaction reported measurably higher personal relationship fulfillment. The giving itself was neurologically rewarding. Then there is oxytocin, widely known as the bonding hormone. Physical closeness, particularly during intimate acts, causes oxytocin levels to rise substantially in both partners. This neurochemical deepens emotional connection. It produces a genuine sense of safety, warmth, and relational closeness. So at a biological level, when a man chooses to engage in oral intimacy, his brain is receiving a clear message. I am close to someone I care about. I feel connected. This feels meaningful. And then there is testosterone, which in men is linked not only to dominance, but to the drive to explore, to possess in the emotional sense of the word, and to maintain deep physical closeness with someone they are genuinely attracted to. Oral intimacy is, in many respects, one of the most primal expressions of that drive. It communicates, I want every part of you. I want to be as close to you as it's possible to be. So the next time you find yourself wondering whether your partner truly enjoys this, remember that his brain is neurochemically designed to be rewarded by it. This is not performance. This is biology. The psychology, what he's genuinely feeling. Biology establishes the foundation. Psychology tells us the rest of the story. First, giving you pleasure makes him feel capable and confident. This might sound counterintuitive at first, but stay with me. For many men, sexual confidence is deeply and directly tied to their ability to bring their partner genuine satisfaction. When a man perceives, visually, orally, physically, that his partner is experiencing real pleasure because of him, it activates a profound psychological mechanism. Researchers call this erotic generosity, and it is a documented trait found most prominently in emotionally secure, relationally mature individuals. Men who express erotic generosity don't define sexual success by their own orgasm alone. They measure it, in large part, by their partner's experience. And oral intimacy offers something uniquely powerful in that regard. There are no barriers, no layers of complexity, just him and your unfiltered response. For a man who is emotionally invested in you, that feedback loop is intensely, deeply satisfying. Second, it is a profoundly intimate act of mutual vulnerability. Consider what oral intimacy actually asks of both partners. You are allowing someone access to the most private, vulnerable part of your body. And he is offering something equally personal: his time, his full attention, his deliberate desire. For emotionally grounded men, that exchange carries real weight. It communicates trust. It communicates want. It communicates, I see you, and I choose to be here. Research rooted in attachment theory consistently shows that men who willingly and enthusiastically engage in giving oral pleasure to their partners tend to score significantly higher on measures of emotional intimacy and secure relational attachment. Said simply, the man who loves doing this very often loves being genuinely close to you, not just physically, but emotionally. Third, he is wired to want to understand you. Human sexuality is intimately connected to curiosity, discovery, and the desire to truly know another person. For a great many men, oral intimacy fulfills a deep psychological need to understand their partner, to learn what creates a response, what brings her alive, what she needs and wants. This is especially true of naturally curious, attentive lovers who approach their partner's body with something resembling reverence. And that, when it comes from a place of genuine care, is a beautiful thing. Fourth, your pleasure is part of his arousal. There is a psychological principle known as erotic mirroring, the idea that we are genuinely aroused by the arousal of our partner. When a man is engaged in oral intimacy and he can see, hear, and feel your responses, his own desire intensifies in direct proportion. Your pleasure doesn't just satisfy him emotionally, it amplifies his arousal. It becomes a cycle. His attention feeds your pleasure, and your pleasure deepens his desire. That dynamic is one of the most honest and beautiful truths about intimate human connection. The insecurity problem. What's getting in your way? I want to address something that comes up in my clinical practice with striking regularity. Intelligent, accomplished, self-aware women who tell me they cannot relax during oral intimacy. Women who physically pull away, who tense up, who spend the entire experience inside their own heads, unable to be present because they are overwhelmed with anxious questions. Does he think something is wrong? Does he actually want to be here? Am I too much? And here is the medical reality of that anxiety. It is not just emotionally painful. It is physiologically self-defeating. When your nervous system enters an anxious state, blood flow to the pelvic region decreases. Natural lubrication diminishes. Muscular tension increases. Your body literally begins working in opposition to pleasure. The worry you carry about his experience is actively preventing you from having your own. The science of genital self-image. There is a clinical concept called genital self-image, and research shows it is one of the strongest individual predictors of sexual satisfaction and orgasmic function in women. Women who carry a positive view of their own genitalia consistently report greater pleasure, more frequent orgasms, and more fulfilling intimate relationships. The research also reveals something important. The majority of women significantly overestimate how atypical or flawed their anatomy is. The truth is that female genitalia vary enormously in shape, size, color, and appearance, and all of it is normal. All of it is natural. The partner who loves you is not seeing what your insecurity tells you he sees. He sees someone he desires, someone he trusts, someone he has chosen to be close to. On natural scent and taste, I want to address this directly because it is one of the most common sources of anxiety I encounter. A healthy vagina carries a natural scent, and that scent is not merely acceptable. It is biologically meaningful. Research in evolutionary biology indicates that pheromones present in vaginal secretions function as genuine biological attractants. Men who are attracted to their partners are, at a neurological level, drawn to that natural scent. It triggers arousal. It communicates health. It is part of your biology, functioning exactly as it was designed to. If you are experiencing an unusually strong or genuinely unpleasant odor, that warrants a conversation with your physician. It may indicate a treatable condition such as bacterial vaginosis. But a natural, healthy scent is not a problem. For many men, it is genuinely arousing. Please stop treating your body as something that needs to be apologized for. What science tells us about oral sex and female orgasm. No conversation on this topic is complete without discussing orgasm, because this is where the medical picture becomes especially compelling. Approximately 70 to 80% of women are unable to reach orgasm through penetrative intercourse alone. This is not dysfunction. This is anatomy. The clitoris, the primary organ of female sexual pleasure, is largely external in structure, extending internally in a wishbone-like formation around the vaginal canal. Its external portion contains roughly 8,000 nerve endings, more than any other structure in the human body. And that external portion is not directly stimulated during penetrative sex for most women. What does stimulate it reliably? Oral sex. Direct clitoral engagement. Research published in the Journal of Sex Research found that women are dramatically more likely to experience orgasm during sexual encounters that include oral intimacy. In some studies, women who received oral sex during their most recent encounter were twice as likely to have experienced an orgasm compared to those who hadn't. So when a man goes down on you, he is not simply offering romance or generosity as a prelude. He is giving you the most direct biological pathway to the full pleasure your body is capable of experiencing. Men who understand this, intuitively or through learning, take genuine pride in it. They don't treat oral intimacy as optional or preliminary. They treat it as essential, as meaningful, as something worth doing well. If your partner is one of those men, I hope you can begin to receive that for what it is. The different types of men, understanding his motivation. Not every man approaches this identically, and intellectual honesty requires acknowledging that full spectrum. The emotionally invested partner gives oral pleasure because your experience genuinely matters to him. He pays close attention, adjusts based on your responses, and treats your orgasm as something he actively works toward. This is the gold standard of intimate partnership. The naturally curious lover is driven partly by exploration, by the desire to understand what moves you, what surprises you, what brings you fully alive. He approaches your body with wonder. As long as communication keeps his curiosity aligned with your comfort, this is a wonderful quality in a partner. The confidence-driven lover ties his sexual confidence to his ability to please you. This motivation is not inherently problematic. It often produces highly attentive, motivated partners. The key here is authentic communication. Please do not perform pleasure for his benefit. Honest feedback serves both of you far better in the long run. The devotion-driven lover uses physical intimacy as a love language. For him, oral sex is an offering, a form of reverence, a physical expression of emotional investment. If this describes your partner, his presence in that moment is his version of a love letter. Receive it accordingly. Practical guidance: how to be present and empowered. Understanding all of this intellectually is a beginning. Actually being able to relax, trust your body, and experience genuine pleasure requires practical steps. Practice body neutrality before demanding body positivity. You don't need to adore every part of yourself to allow someone else to. You simply need to step aside. Begin telling yourself, my body is healthy. My body is normal. My partner desires me. Repeat it until it lands, even fractionally. Use your voice. Communicating with a partner during intimacy is not disruptive. For an attentive lover, it is an invitation and a gift. Tell him what works. Guide gently. This directness enhances the experience for both of you. Address the medical side. If physical concerns, scent, discharge, discomfort, are the root of your insecurity, please consult your gynecologist. These are manageable, treatable realities that affect millions of women. Your health is worth attending to. Give yourself explicit permission to receive. You are allowed to be the focus. You are allowed to accept pleasure without immediately redirecting attention elsewhere. Receiving well is not selfishness. It is what makes intimacy genuinely mutual. Trust what he shows you. When your partner is engaged, present, and clearly enjoying himself, believe it. His neurochemistry is confirming what his actions already tell you. Don't allow insecurity to rewrite his reality. If you've stayed with me through this entire conversation, thank you. Genuinely. It means you take yourself seriously enough to seek real understanding. If this shifted something for you, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below sharing what landed most. I read every single one. Subscribe if you haven't yet. New content every week, designed to help you understand your body, your mind, and your relationships with honesty and depth. Here is what I want you to carry with you. The man who loves to be intimate with you in this way is not performing duty. He is responding to real biological drives, genuine psychological rewards, and in most cases, a deep emotional investment in you specifically. Your body is not a source of shame. It is not too much or not enough or somehow wrong. It is a body built for remarkable pleasure. And the person who loves you sees that. They want to be part of it. Your insecurities, as real as they feel, are not the truth about you. They are stories, inherited or self-constructed. And today I'm asking you, gently but directly, to set them down. Long enough to breathe. Long enough to be present. Long enough to let someone who loves you actually love you. You deserve pleasure. You deserve full presence in your most intimate moments. And I hope this conversation brought you one step closer to both. I'm Dr. Leila Romano. I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves, because you genuinely are worth it.